welcome to another Database Daily Insights. And in this video, I'm going to talk about log pages in memory. This is a Windows user right that usually allows the processors or applications, especially such as SQL Server, to keep its memory pages on the RAM and prevent the system from trying to swap it to the virtual memory on the disk. Whenever we enable this, it's kind of intended to improve performance, especially when we have applications that consume large amounts of memory. And so enabling this is going to really improve performance because most of that data that is going to be needed is going to be still held on the RAM, and therefore improves performance. Now, in the past, for you to enable this, you would have to go to the start button, and so of course there are several considerations before you enable this. First of all, you need to check on the configurations for your memory maximum server memory, because what is configured to be held by SQL Server is not going to be released by SQL Server. So you need to look at what you already have configured. You need to check the maximum available RAM on this box. For instance, I'm gonna look at this one. I have 4 gig, and I've configured here that 2 gig is gonna be strictly used by SQL Server. Now, what's gonna happen is whenever SQL Server is started, it takes up 2 gig whether it's using it or not. So that's what lock pages in memory feature is really going to do. In the past, for you to enable this, all you needed to do is to go to the group security policies, so gpedit, and then you would look at the computer configuration. Under the computer configuration, you would come, let me try to drag this, you'd come to the Windows settings, and then you look at the security, expand that, and then of course the local policies, and then the user right assignment. Under user right assignment, you'd see the log pages in memory, and then you need to add the service account for the SQL Server database in this log pages in memory user rights assignment, so that it is going to be used. It's going to be used to really lock the memory. Now, where do we find the service account? You would go to the SQL Server Configuration Manager, and then you will see the service account there. There are several ways to find this service account. You can go to the SQL Server Configuration Manager. You can use Dynamic Management Views. You can go to local services. There are several places to find it. So I've copied that. I'll come back over here at the log pages in memory, and then I will add that account, and then I'll apply it. Now, once you do that, for this to take effect, you would need to come and restart your SQL service, and then that would then take effect. But as SQL has continued to become so sophisticated, now you really don't need to go through this complex process of going to the local group policy editor, coming to your computer configurations, under the security settings, under the local policies, under the user rights, and then finding your log pages in memory. It is as simple as coming to your configuration manager, getting the SQL Server Services, double clicking this to go to the properties, going to advanced option, and you can see here you have the option to lock pages in memory. Once you enable this, it is going to do exactly what we did by going through this process. So there you have it. If you are looking for ways to improve your database performance, this is definitely one way to boost performance when paging memory to disk is expected, especially if you're going to be having an application that consumes large amounts of data connect to this particular database. And of course, like I said, you need to consider the total memory that is allocated on the box, and also you need to consider what you have configured for your maximum server memory on your SQL Server instance. This is just one way to boost your performance. Anyways, if you find this useful and you know anybody who's trying to boost performance in their SQL Server instance, you must show them this video. If they are looking for more ways to boost SQL Server performance, you can ask them to reach out or drop a comment on the chat, and then we can see what they're talking about, and of course point them in the right direction. Thank you, and